What is going on, everybody? Yes, it is a very special presentation today because I have the absolute honor to sit down with the creator of Armored, one of my favorite comics to come out within the last week that I got to read. But we will talk a little more about that in just a second. Today's guest is Michael Schwartz, who also worked on my kid's favorite Netflix movie. I'm not even kidding. Gnome Alone, so definitely go check that out. But I don't want to say too much more. We'll let the man introduce himself as well. Guys, Michael Schwartz. Michael, how's it going?
Hey man, thank you so much for having me on. I
Uh,
love I love what you do. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
thank you.
Dude, it means a lot, but of course, I'm loving what you're doing because, again, I'm not saying this because you're here today, but I did have the opportunity to read Armored, and what an adventure! What a first issue! It was amazing. But we'll get into that in a second. Like I said, you
Okay.
worked
Yep.
on Gnome Alone, Netflix.
Yep.
I'm sure many people speak to you about this. Give you a
Yeah.
lot of high praises because my kids made me watch it at least 1,000 times, and I do have a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna lie, it is
Good.
enjoyable. Uh, but yeah, so you had the opportunity as well. I saw in the castings it was Patrick Stump as well from Fallout Boy.
Yeah, he did the music. I didn't get to work with him, but the director who I now co-write a lot of movies with, he got to work directly with Patrick on the
Yeah,
movie. He did a great score.
yeah. No, that's awesome. And there was also George Lopez in the movie, which right
Yep.
away I knew he was there. And some other things. You were on Zombie Talent, man, with R.L. Stein, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy
Yeah.
Chase.
Yeah, got to work with Dan and Chevy for a week with Dan actually. So yeah, I've had
That's
I've had some great experiences working on movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But that is some fun stuff you've done before. Let's talk the main thing, which is Armored, because again, I can't thank you enough because I again had the opportunity to read it and I was blown away. Now, just to give people a little bit of an idea as to what Armored is, I want to say, and I think it is safe to say, spooky supernatural. I kind of got some vibes from Stranger Things, but tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, it is about a boy who gets adopted by this couple who within the past 2 years lost their son under very strange circumstances. And this boy Andy, when he gets adopted, he hears that it's kind of a weird situation how the boy died. So he goes to the place where the boy was had fallen to his death.
Yeah,
That's the story that everyone in town talks about.
yeah,
And while there, he ends up falling into the ground, into this old tomb where he finds this like medallion thing, and he presses a button, and it gives him this magical armor that completely covers his body.
yeah,
The only thing is that the armor is being haunted by the knight who used to wear it
yeah,
hundreds of years ago, and so
yeah,
now the knight has to train the boy how to use the armor and ultimately fight a creature that killed his new parents' son who died years ago.
yeah. So that's exact. Well, yeah, you summarized the entire thing, but
Yeah,
yeah, like breaking it down immediately at the beginning of the book, it starts with that travesty, right?
yeah,
There's the immediate death of the child, and I was like, whoa. This kicks off with a huge bang, and it was just at that moment I was immediately drawn to, okay, what's going to take place here. And then we fast forward 2 years, like you said, to Andy, who is the orphan. And yeah, so it's funny because there's a moment, I don't think it was done intentionally at any point, but you can confirm this. There's a panel where he's in the car with his new parents, right,
yeah,
that adopted him, and they're driving back to the home, and he's like looking out the window.
yeah.
That's the opening scene for Gnome Alone, right?
Oh, is it? Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
it is. It
Yeah,
is.
you're right. There is the connection there. I think writers and even directors to some extent, you'll find repetitive motifs,
Yeah,
right? Like I bet you if you watch Zombie Town as well, you'll see something either in Armored or in Gnome Alone, like something that's very similar.
Yeah.
It happens a lot, I have to say. So yeah, that's good. I never noticed that.
Yeah, dude, it was something I caught right away. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, like this looks familiar coming from Michael." But yeah, I again, the book's incredible, but we'll break it down a little bit, not too much, because I do want people to pick this up and read it and really enjoy it the first go around, like I did, right?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so the book itself started on Kickstarter, which I also want to let people know that yes, Michael has done amazing projects on Netflix and so forth, but this is your first ever comic book you're writing.
Yeah, it was. And it's a labor of love. Like I really put a lot into this, like financially, time, I was basically writing screenplays, working a visual effects job while working on this. That's how passionate I was about it. Like it was
Wow.
the only way I could get it done was really having two jobs at the same time.
Yeah, and let's not forget you're also a father, so I
Yeah,
know what that feels
two kids. Yeah,
like. Yeah.
yeah,
But the Kickstarter, because we were talking a little bit about this before, this recording, and one thing was that you set the Kickstarter with a goal, and I believe the goal was 1,750, somewhere around there,
yeah.
and your Kickstarter went beyond. It went to 12,000 plus.
Yes, yeah. It was pretty quick too that we hit. I think it was within the hour we hit our goal
Jeez.
immediately. So it was really it was a positive way to kind of have this whole journey start. And I have to thank Clover Press for helping me with it. They're the ones that saw the potential in the project.
Mhm.
That Hank Canals at Clover, he's the publisher, and he loved the material, and I loved how passionate he was about it. So I just had to go with them as my publisher.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it's awesome because yes, they are believers, but it's a project. Like I said, you're onto something because I'm really enjoying the book so far. I got one read. I know whoever was on the Kickstarter had the opportunity to get both issue
Both
one and
books.
two, right?
Yep, yep, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah. And I can say we will be pre-launching for issues 3, 4, and 5 all at once. So anyone that missed the first Kickstarter, anyone that did get the first Kickstarter, all 5 issues will be available will be pre-launching in the next week. So keep an eye out for sure.
Yeah, and of course the book did pass FOC a little bit back, but it was recently released last week, right?
Yep.
So guys, the recording of this is on May 23rd. So yes, we had Armor drop last week, but it looks like we might have another opportunity as well via Penguin.
Yep. It'll be officially May 29th in more stores. I'm calling it like a wide release. The wide release is the 29th in select stores, for those hardcore fans that want to
Yeah.
seek it out. They could have grabbed it a couple weeks ago. So yeah, May 29th.
That's awesome. So some select few, those lucky ones who did
Yep.
back the project, did get to read issue two. I'm
Yeah.
here on the back end just waiting for it. But issue two is on FOC, not on FOC right now, but it is available on
It's
pre.
available. Yeah,
Yeah,
there are copies, like pre-order for sure,
yeah,
because like all of the copies that were printed are now like, they're already spoken for at shops, but there's some still available for any shops that didn't order, anybody that wants to check it out. Also, I will say the only people that are the most unfortunate of the Kickstarter backers are the ones that got autographed copies. They're still waiting because Jay
oh,
Lee is signing some books, and
yeah.
Nick Patera, who does the main cover of the direct edition, he's doing a bunch of what is it called when you draw a little picture?
Remark. Yeah,
Yeah,
remark.
he's doing remarks on like a whole bunch of them. So
Yeah. But since we're already talking Kickstarter, I just want to show this off a little bit because yes, you just mentioned that you had Jay Lee doing an amazing cover, which is right here, as you can see. There were many tiers and many things you could have gotten within the Kickstarter, but as you can see, there's the story description. But check this: issue two is unlocked. So yes, most people, like I said, did already get the opportunity. But these covers are absolutely amazing. I love this one right here. Um,
yeah,
yeah, Mathieu Terrien, and then you have
I,
yeah, I
I
did
like
add
it.
I did add the accent.
I love
Um,
it.
you got yeah, Jeff Dixon, which is very nice. But this one right here, the Zulo cover is just gorgeous. I love the art. So yeah, this is some of the stuff. You got some original art available as well. Now this I think is capped off if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
this is all done now. No
Yeah,
one, yeah. Unfortunately, people missed out, but you know what? Clover will probably have a few extra copies of some covers.
yeah,
I may have some. If you see me at cons, I'll have extra copies. So yeah, and you know what? At the next Kickstarter, there will be we are going to offer 1 to 5. So it'll be kind of a surprise which covers will be available for 1 and 2. But
yeah.
I can tell you the Jay Lee one will be available. It just won't be. There'll be a limited amount. Like this is once it's sold out, it's sold out, and then we'll have to decide if we're going to a second print. So
Yeah, I love the art within the book, man. I think it's absolutely incredible. I do want to give a big shout out to Ismael Hernandez because, dude, it's absolutely incredible. Love it. As you can see, there's some original art here. That that page 3, original art. Yeah, that is a big page. That's all I'm gonna say, guys. Like, very awesome page, and that is the event that we were talking about earlier. So yeah, definitely go check out some of the Kickstarter stuff and keep an eye out on Previews World. Maybe it'll pass FOC, but if you want to be ahead of the game, just search it within the search engine on Previews World and get your pre-order in. But let's dive back into the actual book because, man, there were some things. Like I said, we looked at that particular panel where I said it reminded me of Gnome Alone, but there's some other things that happened within this book where I was like, oh, okay, cool. So first and foremost, that page we just saw where I said that page 3 where there's a travesty that takes place.
yeah.
Um, I noticed that it says somewhere in the countryside is the location. Do we have an idea or do we know exactly where in the world this is taking place yet?
Okay. The goal for me was to make it kind of generic, like a generic European country, because for
Yeah,
me, I've never been to England before, but I used to go to Germany a lot as a kid. Like
yeah,
my ancestors are from Germany, so my family would travel to Germany quite a few times when I was younger. Um, but Ishmael lives in Spain, so I
wow,
kind of was thinking like, oh, maybe if we make it sort of like England, sort of German, let's not reveal too much. But I will say by issue 3, it's pretty obvious where it's taking place.
okay,
But I want people to read it and not be concerned about where it is.
yeah,
I want people to just read it, enjoy the story, because there's some inconsistencies with real life.
yeah,
Um, for instance, I will say in issue 3, it is kind of revealed we're in England
yeah,
essentially. So it is the English, it is English, but the people talk like Canadians or Americans.
mm,
They're not like, I didn't go like, oh, they have to sound British. I just wanted to sound, I knew that, my publisher's American, I'm Canadian. I just wanted it to be like any kid could pick it up and be like, oh, yeah, this is just a story. I can read this. I didn't want them to be focused on the details. So
yeah.
some people might be annoyed by that. Hopefully not. Hopefully
No,
they can just get into the story. Yeah.
no. I was just curious because I was looking at it and I'm like, yeah, this feels very European. I actually just came back from Bratislava in
Oh,
Austria,
wow.
and I was like, okay, so
Oh,
out
it
the
could be
gate.
there, right? It
Yeah,
could be there.
exactly. Out the gate, I was like, man, this reminds me a little bit of Bratislava because we did visit some castles and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is really nice. So it kind of took me back when I was reading that. But locations aside, because again, like I said, the art's beautiful. We make of it whatever you want, location wise. I guess now you just confirmed where it's pretty much taking place.
Yeah.
But back to the story. So everything happens in the beginning with the death of a certain character. We fast forward the scene, like I said, that reminds me of Gnome Alone, but then we finally get to the home, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed one thing. I was like, okay, this is cool because the character gets presented his new room, right? It's his
Yeah.
bedroom. And I noticed that there's a ton of posters of a certain soccer player. Was that intentional? Is that your favorite soccer player?
Okay, okay. First let me shout out Ishmael, because Ishmael is like a master in my
Yeah,
opinion. So he pencils, inks, and hand watercolors every page. Like you saw in the
yep, yep,
um like there's a bit of digital manipulation after just to put in lines and stuff like that, but Ishmael really is an important piece of this puzzle. He really lends like a tone and a style to the book. And R.L. Stine, who I had read the book after before we were about to launch it on Kickstarter, he said he also agreed that the artwork really lent to that tone.
Yeah.
Okay, now back to your question. I'm not really a huge soccer fan. Like, I don't
Okay.
watch soccer. That
It's
was
all Ishmael.
Ishmael. We got to get him on. He'll tell you all about it. When I saw it, it was so funny because I was like, I know that soccer player, and
Yeah.
he must have just been, I don't know. I mean, he must be a fan. I've
Yeah.
never asked him actually. It made me laugh though.
Yeah, but it's cool because I enjoy that when, example, you open up a book and you could feel elements of the creators where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
there's little nods to maybe their favorite things and whatnot. So when I noticed that, I was like, wow, this is a straight up, you know, pretty obvious person as to who
Yeah.
might be their favorite soccer player. So I was like, okay, is it Michael? Is it Ishmael? So
I'm sorry, not me. Yeah. He can be, since I don't have a favorite. I'll make him my favorite.
there
Okay.
you go. He
Yeah.
is now because he's in your issue number one, and I'm
Yeah.
sure he's one of the favorites along the whole world. If you guys picked up the issue and you know who I'm speaking about, or you missed it, go back to check it. Comment below and let the people know. I won't
Yeah.
spoil it, but feel free to do so in the comments. But let's talk a little bit more about the book. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but you did mention how Andy pretty much goes out to venture within that castle where that incident takes place, and lo and behold, he ends up falling across the item that pretty much gives him what I thought he was getting superpowers at first. I was like, holy crap, like he's got the armor on and everything. You see the glow, but lo and behold, we meet another character, William. Actually, hold on, Sir William, because he will
He has
correct
been
you.
knighted. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
he
some
will
point.
correct you. But yeah, so he meets this character, and it's cool because you see the ghost, Sir William, and then you have Andy. But the progression throughout the story and their the dynamic of the two together is just well done. So I just want to give you props on that one because
Thank you. Thank you.
the conversations are pretty hilarious because Sir William is also ancient English, I guess we want to say, where
Yeah, yeah, we could call him that. I kind of made it up. Like, it's not accurate, I don't think, to how
yeah,
they would speak. I was like, I kind of wanted to do the Thor thing, but
yeah,
not be Thor. It was like, how can I not be Thor but do Thor?
yeah,
And so this is my version of that. For better or for worse, we kind of tone it back a bit as we get to issue 5. But I think to start out, it's kind of funny to see them talk like that,
yeah.
him like that, and with Andy, there, I don't want to spoil it either, but there is a comedy between them. When
Yes,
going into it, I wanted the ghost to kind of be like the genie from Aladdin. I thought, like, oh, it'd be funny
yeah,
if that,
dude,
yeah,
that is spot on. Yeah, that.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that's pretty much the vibes I get, and I mean the language himself. Yeah, I would compare it to Thor. That's a good comparison because it's pretty much the vibe I got, right? But like I said, the dynamic between the two is incredible, and then towards the end of the book, another cliffhanger. You leave us on a cliffhanger. You kick it off with a big one. I was like, what just happened? And then here we are at the end of the book, and I'm like, okay, now I definitely need issue 2. So yeah, the book's incredible. I'm honored to have been contacted by you and have the opportunity to read it. I did make sure to go order what was left on Previews World, guys. So I will tell you, congratulations, because even on Previews World, issue 1 is now sold out.
as of today, yeah,
Yep.
that's today, May 23rd. I couldn't believe it either when the publisher told me. Yeah,
Yeah. Now, being your first comic, I think it's pretty safe to say you've set some good goals right there. You've hit those goals because you've sold out on Previews World. Your Kickstarter exploded. Things are looking nothing but up. You have great covers available for this book. The Jay Lee is just incredible. Jay Lee's just Jay Lee. You cannot
yeah.
go wrong with Jay Lee. And one thing you told me earlier was, it's been a progress to get this out there,
Mhm.
right? One of the covers was actually dated. Maybe you want to shed some light on that.
Yeah, yeah. This I'll show it. It's Scott Collins's cover.
Yeah,
Actually, this was a Kickstarter exclusive. So I'm not sure if we'll have any available at the next Kickstarter, but we'll definitely I'll have some at cons, or I know Clover may have some up on their website eventually. So it is dated 2022. So that's how long it took to get to where we are today. Yeah.
Crazy 2022. But yeah, so guys, definitely, like I said, go check out Previews World. Go search for Armored issue number 2. Get those pre-orders in. If you missed out on issue 1, keep an eye out. Maybe eBay. Hit
Yeah,
me up.
Lunar or
Yeah.
Penguin, who I don't really know the difference, but I know Lunar will have some available. If you did not pre-order from your shop, there still will be a bit
Yep.
left over as of May 29th. So
Yes, exactly. So there's your second opportunity to get issue number 1. So don't miss out on that. Now, before I let you go, Michael, I have a few questions I do want to ask
okay.
you
Yep.
because, like I said, I know you are a comic collector as well.
Uh,
So you're let's dive into the mind a little bit.
okay.
I know that your influences, I guess we could say, was along the lines of Stranger Things esque. We could
Yeah.
say for this book.
Yeah.
If there's anything else, feel free to throw into the mix right now. Um,
Someone said it's like Sword in the Stone meets Stranger Things, and both of
yes,
those were like films I loved as a kid. Sorry, Sword in the Stone was a film I loved as a kid, and I love Stranger Things. But also recently, I don't know if you've ever seen the House movies. They're from the '80s. It's
no,
like these phrases. Someone even compared it to that. A lot of my influences, I would send Ishmael, or I'd send my editor Chris Stevens,
yeah,
who also I have to give major props to. Without Chris, this book wouldn't have happened. Chris Stevens is an Eisner Award-winning writer,
mhm,
and he helped compile the cover artists. He helped me get Ishmael. But my point is my influences, like even the monster. I don't even want to spoil it for you. You find
yeah,
out
no,
in issue 2 what the monster is, but I would send Ishmael like a picture of like from Poltergeist and say, "Oh, make it look like this monster from Poltergeist."
yeah,
So, or this ghost. So, or the Frighteners was a big influence for the ghost look. I don't know if you remember that Peter Jackson movie.
mhm,
If you haven't seen it, check it out. But so a lot of my influences are in here.
yeah.
Did I answer your question, or did I just go on a tangent?
No, you totally answered my questions when it comes to the influences, but
Ah,
now comic wise, the
yes.
influences. I want to get to that because,
Okay.
like I said, very Stranger Things. So, if I were to look at the collection of Michael Schwartz, what would have been his top reads? Something that he absolutely had to have a full run of.
Okay. Well, I will say this. I had all my comics stolen in 2018, and the first books I got back were Silver Surfer. I think it would be considered volume 3 or
Mhm,
2. So that run I got the full thing of,
nice.
a huge chunk of the Hulk. Um, that I've been trying to get a huge full run of, or at least 300 to 400.
Yeah.
There's a few issues I haven't been able to get back. Spider-Man is a huge influence on me. I'm sure you'll see a little bit in here, especially, Peter doesn't, there's that whole mystery with Peter's parents in the
Yes.
annual,
Yeah.
right? And there is a bit of that in this. We're gonna go completely different direction with this. But yeah, I grew up like in the '90s. I was collecting Spawn. Hellboy is a big influence on me. I collect everything, man.
There you go.
I have like 50. I don't know. I have at least 50 boxes of comics right now, so it's crazy.
That's that's insane. Like, here I am thinking I have so much, but it's awesome to see, actual comic nerds and a fellow Canadian, of
Yep.
course, putting out such awesome content. So, yeah, it's pretty cool to know that you collect all of that fun stuff. Now, I gotta ask, if you had the opportunity to write for the big two right
Ooh.
now, DC,
Oh,
Marvel, what comic character would you want to write for, and why?
you didn't tell me it'd be these hard
Oh,
questions.
we're coming at you. Let's
Oh
go.
God. Oh my God. That is so hard. I would love to write Silver Surfer.
Nice.
That would definitely be one that I've thought about a lot. So let's leave him for Marvel. Let me think of one for DC now, really quick. Um, Flash intimidates me because he's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I can't go with him. Oh God, why
I
did you do this to me? You've made it so difficult.
it's just a big fun question, but even for myself, like I understand, let's say Spider-Man, right? My
Yeah.
favorite character. I complain so much about what we're getting Spider-Man wise, but then if if somebody said here, if you write something, I'd be like, wow, where do I start, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I understand what you mean about Flash.
I would love to do a JSA for DC.
Oh, that would be sick. Yes.
Yeah, but again, I'd be following in footsteps that are just way bigger than
Yeah.
mine, and I would be intimidated and probably want to crawl in a hole.
No, stop it. I think you could do just fine. But that was just the big sneaky question, and of course, I gotta end it off for my kids here.
Okay.
What do I need to do to get Gnome Alone 2 lit?
I I need all of your viewers to tweet at, or I guess it would be X at, I don't know what you call it
Yeah,
now. Tweet at or Instagram at Netflix and tell them you want No Malone 2 because we have a script.
yeah,
We literally have a script. The director and I wrote a sequel
nice.
already. So you know what?
Good to go.
I I could read it to your kid if you want.
You'd make his life, I swear to God. So, but yeah, of course, he does appreciate seeing the actual gnomes, so we might have to improvise
Oh
a little
yeah,
bit.
but
But
you and me can act it out for him. How about
there
that?
you go. But Michael, I want to say thank you. I want to say congratulations on your first comic book
Thank
being,
you.
a big success in my eyes. I think it's awesome to see it sell out on Previews World, to see it, from a goal of 1,700 explode to like 13 plus thousand. So it's looking promising. I think you're onto something amazing. Armored, I read it and immediately I thought, okay, I know he's got experience within film, but I'm reading this and I'm like, this has potential for film. So,
Okay.
yeah, who knows? I hope to see that take place one day.
Hey, I've had conversations with people. We just need a contract to come in, and we'll see what can happen. Yeah.
There, there you go. But guys, that was it. So, again, Michael, I just want to say thank you, and I just want to remind everybody, guys, check out Previews World because Armored 2 is available now. You can get your early order in. It does release June 26th, so
Mhm.
keep an eye out for that. And yeah, call up your local shops, let them know that you want to pick up Armored issue 2. Michael, again, thank you so much, and I hope to see you around sometime, maybe on a Sunday with the weekly comic wrap
Yes,
up.
I
Yeah,
I
love it.
love what you do, man. I'm there.
There you go. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.